So I know you're looking for that like magic bullet or perfect course or perfect solution, that insane funnel to try to make your online business work. But what I have found in the last 6 years of building a multi-7-figure online legal education business is that yes, there are some resources out there that are really helpful to you and that will kind of unlock something for you to be able to move forward in your business. But so often it's actually a shift in mindset and how you show up in your own business that really helps you elevate to that next level of growth. So in today's video, I'm sharing my best secrets, the things that I've used to build a multi-7-figure business to hopefully help you move forward in your own. In case you're new here, I'm Vander. I'm an attorney turned entrepreneur who helps online coaches and course creators legally protect and grow their online businesses using my DIY legal templates and my ultimate bundle program. And to be able to sell tens of thousands of legal templates, ultimate bundles, all that kinds of stuff to people from all over the world, it has taken, yes, a ton of work, right? But there has not been one magical coach or course or tip or trick that I've ever gotten that has unlocked all of that. It's actually been the stuff I'm going to talk to you about today that I think made the most transformational impact and made me believe that I was even, capable of doing something like this, which I still don't totally believe, but at least I think I'm more capable than I used to. And somehow it all worked out. And here we are today. So the very first thing that I would recommend to you, and I think it could be the biggest secret to some of your business success, and it's one that could have immediate impact, is to stop following so many people who do what you do. I see this so often, especially in the online coaching space and course creator space, that we fall into this world and we find out about coaching and all of this stuff, right? All the online business gurus. And then we start following all of them and consuming all of their social media and their content. And then we fall into this world, right? And I get it because I did that too, but I really don't recommend only following people who are in this exact space or even following people who do what you do. For example, it's just my personal preference. Is not necessarily the right way to do it, but just for me, I do not follow anybody or read anybody's stuff who does anything even remotely close to me, because it just keeps me in a really clear headspace and it allows me to create the best products on the market for my customers, not stuff in response to what they're doing. That's what I see so often, is that when you consume a lot of content from other people, you're going to get stuck in this loop of oh, if they're offering a program on this, I should offer a program on this. And now you're just assuming that this is a good idea even to begin with, right? But maybe it's not. Maybe this program never had any legs, and it's not even what's best for your customers. Maybe you have a different niche. It's just not a good idea. Not to mention all the copycats issues that come from it, that people get really caught up in wait, did I think of that idea because she was talking about it? Is this different enough from her idea or whatever? It's just best to go your own way. And the best way to do that is out of sight, out of mind. It'll keep your head the clearest, and it'll allow you to every day be thinking about what's best for your customers, not what's best for hers. To that effect, I want you to think more about producing content and creating your own content than you do consuming it, right? So oftentimes when we're starting out, we're consuming a lot of content, we're watching a lot of webinars, we're downloading lots of checklists, right? Who here has their inbox full of freebies right now? You can tell me in the comments below. I was right there with you, but the moment that I stopped consuming so much and started focusing more on producing, everything in my business changed. And I don't mean that I just want you to throw spaghetti at the wall and just be producing tons and tons of content for the sake of producing content. But there is something to getting that practice down, right? If you have a YouTube channel, if you have a podcast, you have to do a lot of episodes to start getting more comfortable, to find your voice, to start to get feedback, to build an audience, which will then help you to decide what future topics you should cover, right? So I want you to focus more on practicing that. Something else I wish I saw a lot more of in our industry too is that instead of consuming all this content from other people in your industry or in a similar industry, what about working more on your craft, right? So I will, for example, every single Sunday I take cooking classes, and I always think if I was still a health coach or trying to teach people how to cook, this is what I'd rather be doing than consuming all these other health coaches or food bloggers' content, right? Because I would rather be working on actually honing my craft and improving my skills, adding something to my toolbox, than just consuming what they're doing. Stop treating everybody around you as if they're the goal or they're the ceiling, right? Maybe the ceiling is so much higher, or maybe you have a totally different ceiling altogether. And that rolls smoothly into my third tip, which is to hone your craft and not hone courses. So oftentimes what I see in people's businesses is that they start collecting a lot of courses, they collect a lot of materials, you read a lot of business books and listen to a lot of business podcasts, and all of that can lead to a lot of overwhelm and a little bit of action. And I want to shift you to a place of action, even if it's imperfect action, because that's what's going to get you more data and more comfortable finding your voice with your customers. Last but not least, this is definitely my biggest tip by far, and it was the biggest game changer in my own business. So a lot of times we, as early stage entrepreneurs, we make decisions for our businesses based on where we are right at that moment, right? So people will reach out to me and say, I know I need legal stuff in place, for example, because it's required, or I'm feeling unsafe, I'm not feeling confident, I don't promote my business because I'm scared, but I don't have a ton of money, right? But I want to work with a lot of clients, but right now I can't do it. And so the mistake there is thinking that we're legally protecting and setting up for exactly where you are right now. Instead, we're actually working on legal protection so that you can build the business that you want to become. And I had this realization years ago that I was constantly envious or thinking of these like other people in our industry that I wanted my business to look more like, I wanted my life to look more like. And I was just like spending all this time spinning of like, but I'm here, how do I get there, right? And someone said to me one time, I think I was deciding whether or not to hire my first assistant, Leanne, and they said to me, do you think that this person that you admire, do you think that she has an assistant? I'm like, well, of course she has an assistant, right? Of course. And they're saying, well, if you want to become like her, right, you have to do some of the things that she has in place to get there, right? So I started thinking about this much more abstractly. Like I don't have any person in particular in mind. I'm actually thinking more about like what I want my business to look like and how I want to be as an entrepreneur. And when I think about how big and how successful I want my business to be and how much impact I want there to be, every time I go to make a decision that I'm scared to make, I think in order to get there, in order to get to that place, wouldn't I have to have this in place, right? And at some point, I'd have to put that in place. So yes, I might not feel 100% ready right at this moment, but I would have to have this in place in order to get there. And I'm never going to get there unless I have this in place. So I started making decisions from a place that, was like the person that I wanted to become, as opposed to the person or the business owner or the business that I have today. And I started putting a lot of those things in place. I would say, when my friend Naomi calls this your edge, like I would push myself to my edge. I would never encourage you to make financially irresponsible decisions or to push yourself past what you truly can do. But I think if you're expecting every single decision to feel super great and confident and without any concern or worry or anxiety, that's just not the case. And I want to normalize that, right? I still don't make a lot of decisions that I'm like, oh, there's no sweat, right? And even though the money situation is a lot different in my business today than it was 6 years ago, I'm still pushing myself to make decisions for the future Sam Vander Wielen LLC and what I foresee it becoming. So I want to encourage you to do that today in your own business. I would love to hear from you in the comments today if this video was helpful, what your number one takeaway is from this video. I'd love to know which mindset tip you're going to put into place for yourself, for your own business. Definitely let me know in the comments down below. I'm gonna read them and respond to them as I see them coming in. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll subscribe to my channel so you can get legal tips for your online business. And with that, I'll see you next week.